Honestly, it depends on what you're trying to do. It seems like most people nowadays are always talking about different side hustles that people can do, but no one really asked for them. Like every time I go on YouTube, people are always talking about some kind of different side hustle, or you go on Instagram and people are talking about like the top 5 side hustles that you can try. Then you have to understand that the world is kind of getting just more expensive, and it feels like everyone just needs a side hustle just to keep themselves afloat and to live that lifestyle that people actually want. And honestly, it is kind of hard to like live in this life and have your 9 to 5 without having to work even more. Just because groceries are so expensive, gas is getting super expensive, and the cost of living is going up while wages are stagnating and not really moving as much as people would like. So I totally understand why side hustles is such a big topic nowadays because we basically have to do it to live anyways. And in my opinion, I think side hustles are worth it. However, there are some people who think side hustles aren't really worth it and they think it's just a waste of time or they don't want to work more. And I'll kind of explain both sides of why I think I know why I understand why people would not under or want to do a side hustle or something like that. But I generally think side hustles are more fun, I guess, and more worth it on my end of things. So kind of just stay to the end if you want to hear more of my opinion and the track I was working on today. So the reason I think why people think side hustles are not worth it is because I mean, if you kind of think about it, you work your 9 to 5, you got a degree and all those other things, and they're telling us that we have to work more when we get home. And this is just assuming you even work a 9 to 5. So maybe that 9 to 5 doesn't pay you as much as you really think it would. Maybe it only pays you like 60K a year or something like that. And I don't know. Some people are just comfortable with that, and maybe they just live really frugally and they are just okay with that. Or you do have a 9 to 5 and you do get paid really well. Maybe you're like a software engineer, I don't know, maybe a lawyer, even though they technically don't really work 9 to 5, they probably take a lot of work home, but that's just kind of how it is. So I guess the multiple reasons of why a side hustle is not worth it, generally speaking, is who the hell wants to work more when they come back from work, you know? After a long shift of 8 hours or even more, depending on what kind of work you do, if you work in the trades, you're probably working like 10 to 12 hours. And that might not even be pushing it as much as you can because people in the trades are always working like 6 days a week, which I don't know how they do because I personally wouldn't want to do that because I have a life outside of work and I have friends and everything like that. But let's just say after a long shift, you probably don't want to come home to more work, especially if you have other duties as an adult, which most people pretty much have. Like all these duties that an adult has to do now is basically you have to do your chores. If you have kids, those are basically another second job. I mean, people love their kids sometimes. Some people, sometimes they don't. But then you have to buy groceries. There's car maintenance. There's other household things you have to do. Then you have to have a social life. You have to keep up with your mental health, your physical health. Maybe you want to, just do your hobbies as well. Literally everything that just comes with being an adult. And now you're telling me I have to work more? That's kind of crazy. The thing is, if you're not passionate about your side hustle or like about what you're doing, it's going to be really hard to want to work more on something when you get home. Sometimes you probably just want to turn on a movie or doom scroll for a good hour and a half and just chill. You don't always want to be working because you'll just burn out. And then when you do go to your 9 to 5, you can't even do anything, even though most of the time you don't really do much at 9 to 5s, anyways. So it kind of just depends on what you're really looking to do. The thing is, you have to pick out a side hustle that actually is going to make you money. There's so many of them out there, like drop shipping or like affiliate stuff, TikTok shops, or whatever you want to see. A lot of them don't really tell you how to start or where to start. Most of them can burn your money too, and a lot of people don't actually talk about that. They just assume that you're actually going to start making money. And let's be real, most people are going to fail at this anyways. And that's why a lot of people don't want to start a side hustle because they don't want to burn more money than they already do. And like, you think you're going to start making an extra couple $1,000s here and there, which is totally possible. But in reality, most people don't really make that. And if you do start making that, you're probably been doing this side hustle for like a good year or maybe even longer for all you know. Because I actually just started making like a decent amount of money through my side hustles. Is it enough to like pay my mortgage and everything like that? Definitely not. But I am definitely putting more work into it this year than I ever have, just because I cannot do the 9 to 5. I generally cannot do the 9 to 5. I don't know how people do it. It makes me want to blow my brains out. But I don't know. People don't like talk about how long it actually takes to start making money or profiting, assuming you're even going to do it for that long. I mean, for me, it's been a few years and I've just been like, I've been that person to like hoard money and not want to spend my money on like my hobbies and stuff, which is kind of crazy to me because you have to spend money to make money. And I don't know why that just did not get through to me for the longest time, but I don't know. We're doing it now, which is great. And I'm actually doing pretty good slowly, and we're slowly getting the ball rolling. I guess another thing that people don't really talk about is that in side hustles, that unknown aspect of whether it's going to work or not going to work is something that people do not like to deal with. The unknown either intrigues people or it terrifies them. People like their comfortable lifestyles, and that's totally fine if you just want that kind of lifestyle. Some people don't want a certain lifestyle that they just want to be like, oh, time to keep making more money. Because sometimes making more money just means more problems. And I definitely believe in that lyric or whatever. What song is that? I totally forgot what song it is, but more money, more problems. And I definitely can agree because once you get more money, you're probably going to spend it on more things that you probably don't need. And that's the part of the consumer culture, anyways. But I'm going to talk about it, why it's worth it to me. So the reason I kind of lean more on the side is because I just believe side hustles are more worth it. However, I'm really biased because I dabble in a lot of things and I love learning a lot of new things. Like I like making new art. I love making music. I love picking up instruments. I don't know what are the things I like to do? Like I love DJing, I love gigs, I like going out and stuff like that. And I make clothes on the side. I sell like a bunch of things, and I do a lot of things. And there are a lot of other things that I do want to keep learning. Like I want to get into ceramics. I want to learn some languages, and there's just a lot of stuff that I want to do in my life. Not, of course, not everything's going to be turning into a side hustle, but problem with me is I kind of just get bored, and I like learning things like very intensely, very quickly, and then I kind of get tailored off a little bit. Um, I guess the reason I dabble in a lot of things is just because I get bored, and honestly, there's just more to life than a 9 to 5. That life to me is very dull and gray. If you ever watch Fairly Odd Parents, it's like that pixie world where it's just all gray and they're monotone, and I don't know. It's just not the lifestyle that I really want in my life. That like monotonous routine where you feel nothing all day and every day. I generally do not know how people can make it through every year. I've always been kind of a job hopper, and I've always known what I wanted to do, and the thought of like having to do a 9 to 5 really pisses me off a lot. And people don't really believe in me as much, I would feel like. And I understand that like all my friends and family have gone through this lifestyle and they probably expect me to do it, but they just don't understand that I don't want to do this. I would rather be a starving artist and doing what I love than to work a 9 to 5 and work for someone else for the rest of my life. I'm so fucking stubborn. I don't like dealing with managers or the or what was I gonna say? I don't know. I kind of forgot what I was gonna say. But anyways, when you try out different side hustles, you're trying out new things. Like you're putting your brain to work, and who knows, it might actually work, and you might be able to like live off of this. You're going to meet a lot of new people and have new experiences. Um, like I don't understand how people are not even curious to see where something can go. I find it easier to work more when I get home from a day job, just because it's what I look forward to when I get home. I enjoy being creative, and this so-called extra work doesn't necessarily feel like extra work to me because genuinely enjoy making music and making art and stuff like that. It's like a way to let go. It's a good outlet for me. And the fact that I'm making money off my creative endeavors brings me joy. Like, because the thought of working a day job for the rest of my life makes me want to die. At this point, if that is the rest of my life, I would rather not live a very long life because that is a living hell for me. And I don't know. I don't understand how people do it. Like being trapped in this hamster wheel and cage. I mean, what I might want to do probably requires a lot more work than actually 9 to 5, probably like working like 60 to 80 hours a week. But at least it's something that I will be able to stand on and be proud of by the time I'm like on my deathbed or something. that unknown drives my curiosity anyways. I'm not even as scared like a little bit. If I burn money, then I burn money because I can always get money back. And money is kind of like money's just weird to me in general. It's kind of like people say it's an energy or something along those lines. And I kind of believe them too. And I don't know. Money's just a weird concept to even talk about. But curiosity killed the cat, but satisfaction brought it back. That satisfaction is what I strive for. And little by little, I will see the results. And I've been working on stuff for quite some time, probably a few years, if not even longer. The thing is, you don't really see results for a while. And that's what people don't really like about side hustles. People think it's going to be maybe like a year long ride, but in reality, it's probably going to be like 5 to 10 years, probably even longer than that if you're going to start a business and stuff like that as well. If I can truly escape the 9 to 5 and be a full time creator, then I will be a happy young man. I'll tell you that much. But anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in for this random video. Let me know in the comments if you think side hustles are worth it, and if you do, if you do have any side hustles, let me know which kind of side hustles you do, and check out the description if you want to support me in any shape or form. This was a song I was working on today, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.
Cause you were there in times when I had nothing, but you threw it all on, you something. Cause you were there in times when I had nothing, but you threw it all on.